Real anime. As soon as you hop into the world of anime, you know Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. These were the biggest names in anime because in the early to mid 2000s, they completely dominated anime and manga. They didn't just succeed, they shaped the entire industry. So many shows like Black Clover, My Hero Academia derived of this underdog story, chasing your dreams no matter what. That all became mainstream because of them. But when greatness exists, comparison follows. Messi, Ronaldo, Marvel, DC, Samsung, Apple, and of course, Naruto, One Piece. Sorry, Beach, but for my agenda, you have to sit this one out. One Piece is actually the first one I watched. I went into the manga during mid to late Wano, and I've enjoyed it. Naruto, to be honest, I haven't even finished it. I'm currently on the war arc. But with that being said, I genuinely believe Naruto is better than One Piece. And here's why. First of all, we'll go into the characters. And I do like Naruto and Luffy. I just feel Naruto is a lot more compelling. And it's not the fact that the problems I have with Luffy is the fact that he isn't an underdog. He has the most overpowered devil fruit, basically born into greatness. And you could say the same thing for Naruto. His chakra reserves, ridiculous. He's got the nine tails in him. But the key difference is the empathy and sympathy towards Naruto feels so much more. Naruto wasn't an underdog because he was weak. For me, it's because he was an underdog because of how society treated him. He was isolated, hated, ignored. And you actually understand why he wanted to become Hokage. Not to prove that he's the strongest, but to belong. And that's why I feel like his story is a lot more relatable and it feels so real. Luffy wants to be Pirate King because he wants to be the most free. And that is a very Luffy goal, but it doesn't hit the same emotionally. And it feels a little less natural rather than like a deep personal resolve to belong. Because at the end of the day, humans are social creatures. That's why I think Naruto's character is a lot better. And also, when you talk about character development, one of my biggest gripes with One Piece is the fact that you don't really get character development. And how I judge character development is, from episode 1, would you do something different to, in One Piece's case, the 1000th episode? And I don't. Luffy does anything different. Naruto, on the other hand, I think he does. When he talks of pain, that moment's so real. Naruto doesn't have all the answers when someone challenges his point of view. And instead of just fighting, he understands it. People talk about the, no talk, no jitsu and stuff like that, but it feels real. It feels actually so true. So with him and Obito, and then with him and Pain, it felt like it actually built understanding. So in terms of character, that's why I think Naruto is a lot better. Next, it's the arcs. I think Naruto arcs are a lot more consistent. If you skip the filler, Naruto goes on an insane run. Okay, so it goes from rescuing Gaara to reuniting with Sasuke, then to Hidan and Kakazu, and then Sasuke versus Itachi, then Jiraiya versus Pain. That's like Real Madrid 2021-22, Man City, PSG, Chelsea, and then beating Liverpool in the final. Like, that run is ridiculous. And then One Piece, I can't lie, it is straight heat when you go from Water 7 to Marineford. But there's so many arcs that drag in One Piece. Skypiea. I remember watching Skypiea. It took me like 3 months to finish. I finished One Piece in 9 months. Well, I caught up to One Piece in 9 months, and it took me 3 months for Skypiea. And then Dressrosa had very good parts, but it dragged even parts of Wano. Yes, these are amazing moments, but they have so much long stretches where they feel unnecessary. And I do understand a lot of people say the manga's better, and that, which I did feel in Wano, but I can only judge from what I saw. And finally, my last point on why I prefer Naruto is stakes. Naruto feels so real. In Naruto, people you actually care about die. Jiraiya, Azuma, Neji, those deaths actually hit and they change the story. Even when it seems like someone might survive or they might die, you still feel the tension because in the Pain arc, I genuinely thought Choji's died and the Toads were dead. In One Piece, I see a funeral and I'm side-eyeing that, bro. I really am. Because most deaths only happen in flashbacks, so the emotional impact is a lot weaker because you already know they're dead. Even in Wano, that's the biggest arc since Marineford, and no major character dies. Not Kaido, not Big Mom, just a couple of the scabbards, and we don't care about them, let's be honest. So I'm not saying like a Straw Hat needed to die, because that'd be in the later arcs. But someone like Kinemon could have died, and that would have added quite a lot more weight. So now before you guys say, I'm hating on One Piece, let me be fair. One Piece at its peak, I think it's better than Naruto. Marineford and Water 7 are some of the greatest arcs in anime, full stop. and I think they're levels above Naruto. And also the character building, the world building in One Piece is a lot better. But I think overall Naruto hits harder. The characters overall, I'm not too sure. Maybe in One Piece I do prefer them, even though they're not as fleshed out and the character development is a bit lackadaisical. But Zoro, Usopp, and Nami, I think they're a lot more complete than Sasuke and Sakura. But anyway, guys, let me know your comments below. Get to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.